Let's get started. I know you guys have a lot to do today. So today's not going to be the super sexy version. We're going to do a lot of foundational work today just so you guys are on the right path as we get moving. And go from there. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, still letting me. First day, it's cool. We're gonna just roll with it.
Now my phone. So if you see me,
Okay, let's roll. Let's do this. PowerPoint. Everybody see that? We good? Cool. Okay, so we're here for business development. If you are not here for business development, you're in the wrong room. Well, talkers. Make sure you guys mute yourself if you're not. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do today, just our agenda, we're going to do a course overview, kind of what we're going to learn over the next couple weeks here. We've got 5 Mondays in a row that you're going to hang out with me. We'll do some intros, define what a BDR is, and then what that looks like on a weekly basis. Feel free, as we're going through, drop questions in the chat, and we can address as we go through. I'm just going to see who's not muted because I can hear some feedback. Okay, so we're going to be in here, like I said, 5 weeks long, every Monday morning. You guys are all here on time, so you've got the time zones right, which is awesome. Our Facebook group that I created, I sent out a link via email. If you haven't added that, please do. If you don't have Facebook, that's okay. I'm just using that as a platform so you can post questions over the week as you're running into things. If you think of things that we were talking about on the class, feel free to talk about that stuff. Wins, anything you want to post in there is totally good. Okay, and then if you have not completed your survey yet on Google Forms, please do that for me today. And if your loan officer has not done that, please have he or she do that as well. Last but not least, each week you guys have homework. Welcome to boot camp school. I promise not to make it too much of your time, but a lot of the stuff that we talk about is, like I said, really building foundation. We want to make sure that you're strong at the beginning so that you have the systems in place to be really successful over the course of this class and also your BDR career. And then just a side note, we are not talking about compensation in this class. That's something that you need to discuss with your loan officer if you do have questions on that. We're all in different markets and have different company structures, so we're just not going to touch that at all, and I will not talk about it. So I just want to put that out there in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so you're probably wondering who I am and why I'm just rambling and how we all got here. Some of you, I don't even know if your loan officers just signed you up and you got an email saying, hey, guess what, you're starting this class Monday. If you did, hi, welcome. I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible for you. So I am in business development. I'm very much like you guys. And when I started 3.5 years ago, there wasn't really a business development role. And so I kind of had to figure out a lot of that information on my own and figure out how to be successful in our industry when I honestly had really no idea what I was doing. So my goal throughout this class is to make sure that you guys as business development reps understand what your job is, how to sell it to agents, how to make as much money as possible for your branch and also for yourself. And I always like to tell people my story too, because like I said, even though I started in the industry and I was in title and escrow and then I made the jump over to mortgage, my first year was not smooth. So I did 9 million my first year. My second year, I did almost 32 million. So the difference between my first year and my second year was huge because a lot of it was a learning curve. And again, that's why we're going to talk over the course of this class about scripting, how to really make sure people are sending you leads, making sure you're not wasting time with agents who are wasting your time. And then, you know, we'll kind of build from there. This past year, I did 50 million in business for my team. So over the course of 3 years, the jump was pretty significant, and that's something that you guys can do too. Last year, obviously, we're all busy on the refi boom. So if you're new to the industry, last year, there were a lot of refinances going on. A lot of loan officers got bogged down in that refinance boom, and guess who is out picking up all of their agents? So this role is really, really cool because you have the best job in the world. Your job as a business development person is to go and make friends and have them send business to you, and you make money and your team makes money. So we'll talk a little bit more about BDR stuff and what your job entails in just a second. And then, yeah, so I'm licensed. I don't originate. I don't ever want to touch a file. I knew that. I'd be so bored behind a desk. It wouldn't even be funny. I want to be out with people. I want to hang out with people and make friends. I don't want to talk about loan stuff. That's kind of boring to me. But I love my job and I love our industry. So it's awesome. If you guys are new, this is going to be so much fun for you. And if you're ramping up, we're going to make sure that you have a really successful year. So I'm going to keep going. I want to know who's here, and obviously I know you guys because I got all of your forms, but we're just going to go around the room really quick. If you can do me a favor, tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you want to learn in this class, that would be awesome. I'm just going to call on you. Like I said, we're going to roll through quick. Kim, since you're on my left, you're going first. Hi.
Hi. So I'm Kim Doberman. I live in Denver, Colorado. And I am looking, honestly, I can meet with all the agents all day long, connect with them, but it's getting the business back from them. I feel like it's taken a long time for the business that's coming in now. It's been almost a year, like, for us to build that relationship. So that's kind of my biggest thing, is just knowing how to take that next step of getting the business in.
Okay, well, Tiffany?
Hi, good morning. I live in Chicago. I work for Guarantee Rate, and I've only been in the business for 2 months. So I'm very, very new. I have tons to learn, but I've been in sales for a long time. So I have that part down. It's just really learning this business and how to organize it and how to connect with realtors.
Awesome, love that. Ayala? Are you having sound issues? Can't hear you. Okay, we'll come back to you. Courtney?
Hey everyone, my name's Courtney. I live in Venice, Florida. And the biggest thing that I want to take from this is kind of like what Kim was saying. I can go to the coffee appointments, the lunch appointments, but really trying to find a good system to follow up with them after the fact, get the business from them, and be able to stay organized. Having an organized list, having a 12-week follow-up. I think that would be right now, that's been my biggest struggle.
Awesome, and we're going to talk next week about the agent meeting and the follow-ups that go along with that. So we'll be ready to go for you. Brody?
So I'm Brody. I am currently in Warren, Utah, and I've only been working for a week, so I'm just ready to learn anything and everything you have to teach.
It's going to be like drinking from a fire hose. I know that there's some other ones that are brand new, and like I said, your Ella's kind of said, here you go, have fun. Beth?
Hey, I'm Beth Cromwell from Lakeland, Florida. Kind of like Rachel, I have 18 years experience in the title industry, so I've only been on the mortgage side now for about 6 weeks. So I'm excited to see, what tools and stuff I can convert from being in title over to this.
Awesome. Tracy?
Hi everyone, I'm Tracy Dobry. I have been role for quite a while. I'm gonna say, I think it's like 14 months, and I think that's a long time. But I've done I've worked for a realtor association for many, many years. So, I've been with all these realtors in their faces on my Facebook and everything for 20 plus years, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you, this is the hardest job I've ever had, ever. I think converting, you know, I have friends, but having them convert the business, I think it's so difficult for them then to send me business. And I just follow up text, I do voice text, I do phone calls, I do everything. So I look forward to hear what everyone's doing, plus I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida, so you know the competition is tough. Everyone's calling these agents. So I love to hear what everyone else is doing, so maybe I get like little tidbits on how I can apply it to my business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope to change your mind about this being the toughest job because I love what I do. And we're going to work on some techniques to help make that you not feel that way and feel successful in your role. So stay tuned. Sean.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean Charsley. I'm out here in San Diego, California. I hope to get from this course basically, what's up, Jake? I hope to get from this course basically how to, go to the coffee appointment and the handoff to the loan officer in the office. Because I can go out, I can make friends, have coffee, all stuff to get me clients, but then I want to make sure that they don't get lost through the transition to actually close the deal, so we actually get paid. And then also how to differentiate ourselves from everyone else. Calling, doing Thor's hammer. A lot of agents now, especially everyone's been hitting the phones. Everyone's like, dude, what is this, cold call Monday? Everyone's been calling me like crazy lately. So how do we differentiate ourselves from everyone else who's doing the same thing?
Very cool. Stephanie?
Good morning, y'all. I am Stephanie from Dallas, Texas. I have only been in the mortgage BDR role for just a few months, but have been in the real estate industry since about 2014. I was a full-time agent for 4 years, and then since then I have been in outside sales for a home warranty company. So right now, really just trying to get those relationships I have with realtors to know really my new role, that I'm working with an incredible loan officer and that we have great products. And we're really just trying to, number one, narrow down that top 40 list. And the same as some of the other ladies and gentlemen said, just get our 12-week program really focused in on and organized and get going. So those are my top priorities right now.
Love that.
Super
Talia?
excited to be here.
Hi, my name is Talia. I'm from Deerfield Beach, Florida, and I just started with the Paramount Funding Company, and they're based in Miami. This is my first day. I have no experience in this field, so I hope to learn a lot of things like creating long-lasting relationships with real estate agents, learning how to follow up, and just everything that has to do with this so I can be successful.
Love that. Well, we're glad you're here. Hang
you.
tight. It's going to be fun.
Thanks.
Jake from Omaha?
Yeah, it's Jake Ryan, Omaha, Nebraska. Not from San Diego, I just have family there. That's why I got a little excited. The biggest thing I want to learn in this class is how to sell the role to agents, because what I've found in the last 4 months that I've been doing this is that they want to talk directly with my loan officer instead of having to go through other people to get the answers they want right away. So trying to set that up in the first meeting and then just to follow up as well. But that's my biggest concern right now.
Tyler?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Tyler Zuckerman from Boynton Beach area, Florida. And just as Jake said, pretty much just selling the role and kind of scripting and networking. I'm pretty good at the follow-up portion of things. We got a good system over here, but just that original contact is what I could definitely use help with.
Cool, we can do that. Macy?
Hello, my name is Macy. I'm from Austin, Texas. I just quit my job with Orchard Brokerage. My last day was Friday, and I start the 28th in this role. So I have no idea what this has to do with anything, or not this class I don't know what the job really entails.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, I want to just learn everything that y'all want to learn. I'm taking notes on everything y'all want to learn. I'm like, oh, interesting, okay. So I'm
Love that.
excited.
And you guys will get the recordings as well. Also, your loan officers will get the recordings, so you can go back and watch this stuff. I can send you the slides, so don't worry about taking notes. I want it to be super interactive, and fun. And the reason I'm doing intros is because I want you to see that across the board, people are struggling with the same things you're struggling with, even in different markets. So we won't be doing this every single time where we go through and introduce ourselves, but I think it's important right now to see where you're at and things that you're struggling with so that we can pinpoint moving forward those specific issues that we're all dealing with. So,
Perfect.
Angela.
Hey, so I'm Angela, and I am from Fresno, California, and I'm with Sam Lends Money with Alameda Mortgage. I'm barely on week 2, 0 experience. I did get my origination license, however, I'm starting on marketing and sales on it. So I have 0 experience, so I'm just diving right in and soaking up as much as I can. And just, I think my biggest thing is knowing how to speak with the agents and sounding like I know what I'm talking about, and getting that confidence to really reel them in and get those referrals in. So,
Perfect.
and everything under the sun.
Okay, cool. Anne Marie.
Yeah, I'm in Colorado Springs. I am teamed up with my husband under Freedom Home Loans. I have never done this before. It's completely new. I've been doing this role for maybe 2 months now. My biggest thing is just like following up and really asking for the business. I can ask for it, but then how do you keep asking for it? Like, just really getting that down and letting them know, like, what, like, I mean, I'm there for them. I understand that part, help develop them in their business, but keep asking for the business in return.
Awesome. Do that. Jamie.
Hey, my name is Jamie, and I kind of have like a dual role because I'm a licensed loan officer and I do originate, but I also bring in referrals for Tyler, who's my boss and the loan officer as well. I mainly focus on originating the Spanish only clients, and then if they're English, I kind of like bring them in, but then he takes them to the finish line, so I don't have to, you know, put in as much on those. But yeah, I got licensed in July of 2021, so not too long. And then I think I want to make sure that I want to like find out how the rest of you like connect, but with like friends. How do we, like, you know, I want to make sure that all of them know what I do, right? Because then, but with the realtors and stuff, that part, I think we're pretty good, and we've been like super busy with that. And I can get business from them, but it's more like, how do I make sure like all my like connections, like people I'm friends with and family, you know what I do? So.
Yep. And we're gonna work on that too. I think that's the hard part, is we want people to know what we do, but we don't want to beat it down their throat and say, oh, I do mortgages, and you're like, we know. So we'll be talking about that stuff too. Dawn from Florida.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm with Guaranteed Rate. I've only been doing this for 3 months, but I do have a background of being a broker, a manager, and working on-site sales for like 20-something years. So that has definitely helped me. But what I'm looking for out of this class is like, I love like your verbiage. I love your elevator pitch, how smooth it comes out. The why. I want to learn the stacking. How do I make the best of my time? Who are the time wasters? And what I have is so far a lot of pre-approval. I got into a lot of the offices. I knew to go directly to the manager because I noticed. But so far, we never had anything that came to the end where it actually closed and an underwriting. So I want to hear about that from you. And I also want to hear about like the real role. Like, you know, when I first interviewed, it was about like, you know, I tee it up, he hits it home. but it seems to be a little blurry now. Routine is up and hitting it home. So I'm just trying to get a real, encompass on how the whole thing works from start to finish.
Perfect.
Do it. Sure. Yep.
We can do that.
Yep, you can do that.
Trish? You're muted, my dear. Hold on, I'm unmute you.
Right, I gotcha. All right. I'm from New Jersey. Actually, I'm transitioning down to Florida, so I'm in Cape Coral, Florida, actually that's where we are most of the time. No experience in the business. I've been here about 2 months. I was a licensed optician before, so I know how to deal with inside sales very, very well. It's the outside sales that is, I don't want to say my biggest challenge, because I'm meeting people and I'm getting, leads, but I feel since I lack so much experience, there's a greater learning curve. So I guess I kind of feel like I need to know where to be networking, and I kind of feel like I need a plan or more of a structure for the whole job, basically.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Carmen?
Hi, sorry. I'm
Okay.
Carmen Esmani. I'm from Fresno, California. I was Lens Money Mortgage, and it feels very refreshing to hear what everybody's struggling with. I've been here for 7 months, but in the industry since 2004. I was a real estate agent at first, and then just going to the sidelines after that. But yeah, definitely what Kim, Courtney, Jake, they all been mentioning, just learning how to turn those relationships of friendships or realtors that know you for a long time into actual business. And them taking your business serious as they want to talk to the loan officer, they don't want to talk to you, things like that. So it's very refreshing to hear that I'm not the only one who's struggling with it.
Yep, and that's exactly why we're doing this. It's just so you can see that we all have similar issues we're going through, so we're going to work through those together. But we're happy you're here. Sarah?
Hi, guys. I see there's a lot of people from Florida on here. I'm also from Florida. I'm in South Florida. I'm in Boca Raton. I've been doing this for about 6 months now. I represent 2 loan officers directly. And I would say that probably kind of aligned with everybody else. I have a very large database because of the networking and sort of the way that I've been able to go out and teach classes or present at places. So I have a very large database. My problem is I don't know what to do with it. So that means like, I guess the follow-up of what to say, the script, when to call for the coffee appointment, what to say after the coffee appointment. And then the other part of it is by going to a lot of these networking, I'm becoming familiar to a lot of faces, which is great, but we're becoming friends, which is also wonderful. It's transitioning that friendship, and I like seeing you at networking events, and, let's kind of buddy up together to how can I get your business? How can I be the person that you trust? How can you be that first phone call when you have a buyer that you need pre-approved to send over to me, and how do we sort of make that switch over?
Okay. Sounds good. Tony?
Hi there, Tony Salas from, I actually live in Birch Bay, Washington, so I'm officially 6 miles from being Canadian. Grew up in California, been in my role for 4.5 months, and what I would like to gain from this learning is I have no problems at all with developing relationships. I've been in sales for most of my adult life, but it's getting those relationships to transition to actual loans in the pipeline. Because dealing with businesses, dealing with individuals, dealing with realtors, trying to make it so that they understand that my boss has a sense of urgency that hopefully matches up with theirs. So.
Yep, and that's something that's obviously common. We've heard it a couple times now, is just closing that and making sure that, yes, we're friends, but we're also business partners. So we'll be talking about setting the expectations for sure. So hopefully that'll switch for you pretty soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Mindy?
Hello, my name's Mindy. I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and we're building this. It's a new role, so we're building it as we go. So I'm interested in hearing everyone's wisdom. And I'm also very curious on what items and what tactics are best use of time and such. So looking forward to getting to know and hearing from everyone.
Awesome. Kayla.
Hello. I'm from Kansas. I have no experience at all. I've been a nurse for the last 10 years, so this is all completely new to me. So wanting to soak everything up and learn as much as I can.
Cool. Love it. All right. Hold on. You guys switch screens on me. Danielle. Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. Danielle, you're still muted. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay, you're gone again.
How about now?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm using my phone.
You're good.
Okay, so I'm from Newport Beach, California. I'm 3 months in this role, but I was in processing for the past 12 years. So I'd say my biggest struggle is once I have my loans, I have like 7 in escrow, is not jumping in as a processor and continue to move forward. Plus, I also feel like I'm becoming a scenario desk for the realtors. So I guess that's my biggest struggle, is just staying organized, and then social media. I feel like my voice is annoying. I'm just, yeah.
It's not. We all hate how we look on camera and sound on camera, so you just got to do it and post it. I promise you, it's not something to be scared of. So we'll work on that as defining roles and also social media too. So, Crystal?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Crystal Kinney, and I joined my husband's team, the Sam Lens Money Mortgage team. This is my second week, and so I'm just here to soak it all in and just get as much information as I can.
Perfect. You're here. Okay, let's see, Eddie.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hey, y'all. My name is Eddie Grant. I'm originally from Georgia. Go Bulldogs. But I reside here in Tacoma, Washington now, so I drink a hell of a lot of coffee. So these coffee appointments should be something that I would be used to, I'm sure. But my main purpose here is just learn as much as I can and see what makes me successful, my company successful. I'm here to just listen, learn, and pick brains. So thank you.
Very cool. All right, Ayala, let's try one more time. You think we can do it?
Can you hear me now?
I can
Are we
hear
good?
you. Yes.
Yay! Technology at its best. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ayala Kiri, and I represent the branch lending team at North Point Bank. I work for Amazing 3 loan officers. This is my first day to this role, to the business role development. Prior to that, I was pretty much dealing with calling leads, getting all the documentation for our loan officers, for our LPs to process, and just calling and calling. And I love people. I love networking. So I will talk to anybody. I'm even at Publix. I'll go in and I hear a conversation about a mortgage. I'm like, oh my God, I can help you. I'm the person. And I right away give that card. I'm friendly and I'm outgoing. The only thing is I need that initial start. Like, where do I begin? I have all these great ideas of what I want to implement and how to bring the business in. Some my loan officer might agree on, some not. I'm not sure. I haven't run it through him yet. But at the end of the day, I want to start. Like, I want to know, where do I begin, and how can I grow and implement and bring back to the team. And so I'm really excited for this role, and I'm going to learn from all of you. So thank you.
Awesome. We're excited you're here. Did I miss any business development people? I know there's some loan officers I skipped over, but any BDRs that I missed? All right, cool. So like I said, the reason we did that, I wanted you to see A, where everyone was from, and B, just things that people are struggling with. And it's always helpful to know from me too, what you guys want to learn. So today we're really gonna talk about just what the role actually entails, what your day-to-day should look like, what your week should look like. So we're gonna do a lot of the structuring, not fun type stuff like prospecting. We'll get to that. but we have to have a strong foundation in order to move forward onto those other things, because if you don't have a plan, you're going to struggle a lot more than you would if you've got some systems set up already. So I'm going to share my screen again. Like I said, feel free as I'm going through, drop questions in the chat. Afterwards, we go through, we'll have time for questions and answers too. So just kind of open masterminding and things like that. Okay, so I want to kind of define what a BDR is. This can take a couple different roles depending on your company, but a true BDR is the person that gets business. So my job, and I'll just use myself as an example, and the cool thing about BDRs is every single one of us is different and is going to have different styles, but we all can kind of work from the same starting point and use the same script. But the way you prospect may look different than Kim or Sean or myself, and that's okay. You know, our whole goal is to be successful in this, but I wanted to kind of outline a few things. Your job as the BDR is to bring as much business into the branch as possible, and this can take a variety of different ways. Obviously, you hear real estate agents as the main one because they work with buyers the most, but there are so many other awesome partnerships that you can build with financial advisors and attorneys, title companies. Those are all people that you can use in your toolbox. And your job as a BDR is to make as many people love you and want to send business as possible. And then they're going to go out and be like Ayala was saying, I hear mortgage, I'm going to think of Rachel or Sarah or Sean. And that's the whole goal, is to get business through the door to your loan team. You know, there's some really fun ones. I always tell people I have the most fun job in the world. I got invited to a party the other day, and it was March Madness, and there were 100 real estate agents there. Like, who else is going to a party in the middle of a Thursday, making contacts and bringing business back to our office? This is just such a unique role that you guys should really be excited, because I tell people all the time I get to make friends with people for a living, and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you should be a BDR. We also, though, need to provide value for agents and referral partners, and we can do this in a myriad of different ways, and we'll go more in depth in that, especially next week when we talk about agent meetings and how the script is and setting the expectations. Because there are so many loan officers or loan companies out there soliciting realtor business, we have to figure out what our unique selling proposition is. So what makes our team different, other than the fact that we can close and we can do, you know, great communication. You'll hear this a lot from people when they talk about why their loan team is special, but what benefit do you bring to the agents? And so that's one of the things that I really want to teach you guys as we go through is, here's how our team is different, but here's how we can help you as an agent make more money. And that right there is going to be the key to your success, because every other lender that's taking them to coffee is talking about themselves, and we're going to really learn to listen and use that in our follow-up plan. And then kind of lastly is, like I said, you can do this in a bunch of different ways, and we'll help create a plan for you specifically, but it's not just one clear cut, hey, this is how we're going to do business, and there's no other way to do it. We can be really creative here. The things that business development traditionally do not, and again, I say traditionally because there may be somebody on here that their role with their team, they have worked this out, but they traditionally do not originate the loan or take the application. I do not touch applications. I've never filled out an application in my life. And I am definitely not looking at tax returns and doing all what I call the boring paperwork stuff. So again, my role as BDR is to be out as much as possible. The more people I see, the more opportunities there are for business to come into our branch. And I think the one thing, and I saw this a lot on your surveys for those of you who completed them, you feel like you need to know the loan products in and out. That's not the truth. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing. I want to see, just raise of hands. Who thinks need to know all sorts of loan problems or is like concerned about that? Okay, cool. So there's a lot of people that feel like that. Jake has the double hands up. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, in the 4 years I've been doing this, I'll get occasionally asked a question if they don't care about your loan products. They don't. They want to know two things. Can your team take great care of my clients? And how do you help me as a real estate agent make more money? Whatever loan products you use to do that with, they're cool with. And yes, it's good on the educational side, but that is where your loan partner can help educate them. And so when we talk next week about setting the expectations when they send a lead in, we'll talk about how we say that. But essentially what I tell people is my job as the business development rep is to help take great care of you as the agent. So anything you need to help boost your business, we're here for. My loan partner is going to take great care of your client. Any loan specific things that you need to know, he's going to be a great resource for you. But together you have two of us, so the communication's really strong. Sound good? Cool. Any questions? Am I going too fast? Awesome. I'm going to pop to Kim's question really quick. How do you avoid that conversation initially when you set up that coffee meeting? I have a lot of agents asking that. Can you elaborate a little bit on what they're asking?
Yeah, so then I call and they're like, well, I talked to, or I know X, Y, and Z mortgage people, or I have 5 lenders I refer business to. How do you differentiate yourself to those people? What do you do differently as far as loan products? That's where I feel like I have to jump in and be like, oh, we do an all-in-one loan, or oh, we do a community mortgage loan, or whatever. And I don't want to obviously talk about that, but I don't know how to respond in that situation.
And I would just say, listen, most lenders have similar loan products. What makes us different is not our loan product, but how we take care of you as the agent. My role specifically with our team is to help you as the agent make more money, because if you make more money, I'm going to make more money too. And so I would rather figure out what you as an agent are missing in your business and help you generate business through those gaps than talk about loan products, because we all pretty much have the same rates and loan products. If you have a specific question about the loan products, Austin, my loan partner, would be happy to sit down and talk with you about that. Is that helpful?
Thank you.
Okay, let me pop back on. So, like I said, you don't need to know the loan products inside and out. Most agents, especially the more seasoned ones, which are the ones we're going to be going after, already kind of have a good grasp on loan products. You may get more questions with newer agents who feel like they have to know the loan products, but essentially they don't. We just need to teach them as business development reps to tee it up to our team. And I always tell people, like, you as the agent, you're not a specialist in loans, just like I'm not going to try to do your job. So if your clients have questions, send them over to Austin, my loan partner, and he'll be happy to answer those questions. Okay. So like I was talking about, the biggest thing with this role is activity. So the more activities that you do, the more successful you're going to be in your role. Everything you're doing now, you're going to see pretty much in 90 days from now, especially with the way the market is. I know a lot of you guys are in situations where there's low inventory and you're getting pre-qualified buyers and they can't find houses. Right now, just right now, a pre-qual is a win, right? Because you've got someone ready and willing to go. It's the agent's job to help find them a house. So be easy on yourself. Even the people that have been in the industry like myself and, you know, my loan partner, our numbers are lower right now because of lack of inventory. Okay? I will send you the PowerPoint, yes. So we've got to keep activities high because eventually something's going to stick. So this is what I use on my weekly schedule to do my activities. So I'm doing 20 phone calls a day minimum, 15 meetings a week, 3 a day, at least 1 networking event, 3 to 5 social media posts. I like to use stories a lot more, and then a minimum of 15 thank yous. Guys, there's a reason Amazon's so popular. Everyone loves getting mail. I'm going to tell you that right now. Buy a box of 50 cards on Amazon, you'll be everybody's best friend. So this is kind of a general overview. I'm going to take each one individually right now for you, so we can talk a little bit more in depth. So your 20 phone calls a day. This is going to be prospecting for your agents. Who here has heard of the Thor's Hammer list? Okay, so some of your loan partners who are in Freedom Club, you may have heard Thor's Hammer. Basically, this is a designated time that you are calling on qualified real estate agents to try to get coffee appointments with them. A qualified agent, and how I qualify my agents, is in the last 12 months, they've done a minimum of 8 buy-sides. So they represent 8 buyers. Because if we're going after someone who's done 25 listings in the last year but hasn't done a buyer, we're wasting time because they're not generating buyers. So it's really important to look up your agents. There are a couple different systems you can use for this. MTA is one that your company might have that'll allow you to pull agent production. MMI is another one that you may have heard of. And this will give you a general idea of what the agents are doing. The other thing too is your title partners can pull a list of everyone that meets that criteria. So every month I have my title partner pull a list in the Scottsdale area who's done 8 buy-sides or more in the last 12 months. And this is the list that I'm going to use to call on. Can you repeat that? 12 months. Okay, cool. You good, Don? So these Thor's Hammer times are when you are sitting there and you're making calls to qualified agents with the intention of getting them to a coffee meeting. Okay, so this is where these 20 calls are going to come in. If you don't have a list right now and you're newer, it's a perfect time to reach out to people that you know in your sphere of influence. So you literally all have one of these. You can just go on there, find the A's, and start calling. Hey, how's it going? What have you been up to these days? They'll tell you, and then reciprocity will basically say, what are you up to? Oh, that's funny you should ask. I'm actually in mortgages now. I love it. How has everything been? Isn't this market crazy? So now you're planting the seed with your sphere of influence. But our goal, guys, 20 calls a day minimum. Sound good? You're not moving your faces. It's very hard to judge you. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. Okay, so let me talk questions really quick. Questions here. When you say 20 calls, do you mean 20 calls where you talk to them and ask for business or coffee, or 20 calls including voicemail? 20 calls where you're actually talking to someone. Okay. Voicemails don't count, because half of them don't listen to their voicemails and half of them don't call back. But if it's a sphere of influence, like I said, you're just going to have that conversation that says, hey, it's so-and-so, what have you been up to? If it's an agent, one of the scripts, and we'll talk more about that next week too, is getting the agent appointment, is, hey, I hear your name everywhere. We're a pretty big producing mortgage company here in town, and we're going to be on the opposite end of the deal. I'd love to take you to coffee to see what you've been doing to make yourself so successful and how we can help you make more money this way. So we thank them. Yes, so start with your cell phones, and actually one of your homework items is this week, and I'll pop this up on the end. We're going to make a sphere of influence list where it's going to be everyone that knows your name is going to go on this list. It won't be a you sit down and everybody goes on there. That first time you're going to think of people as you go, but anyone that knows your name is part of your sphere of influence. So until you have that list of agents, if you don't have that list of agents right now, especially if you're newer, I'm going to have you call your sphere of influence this week. So that way we can start letting people know, hey, I'm in the mortgage industry, this is what I'm doing, and then we can create a follow-up plan based off of that. Good? Okay, awesome. Same things with meetings. So I do 15 meetings a week minimum, and I'll show you what my time blocking looks like here in a second. But I'm doing 3 a day, 5 days a week. That's 15 meetings. The goal, and eventually you will have 15 agent meetings, but right now if you don't, you're meeting with financial advisors, CPAs, anybody that's dealing with life changes is a great person to have a meeting with. and then asking them, hey, who's the best real estate agent that you know? Let me answer. Would you mind making a warm introduction for me? So now you're going to get an introduction from someone that you trust to an agent that they like, and it's going to be a lot more effective than you going in cold. Okay, so these 15 meetings a week, if it's not with agents, it needs to be with somebody where you're actually seeing them face to face and asking them for an agent referral.
Great, so I had a question.
Yeah.
So with these other businesses like financial advisors, attorneys, CPAs, title, how do you approach them versus an agent?
So I always like to have my meetings in 3 different parts, whether it's an agent or somebody that could refer me business. When we meet, the first thing that I really go through with them is frogs. So we talk about friends, recreation, occupation, goals, really finding that commonality. Because I always say, like, meeting with agents or referral partners is kind of like dating, right? You've got to figure out if you guys have the same morals and you like each other. Is there going to be a next date or meeting? And so breaking down the personal is really important. It's also going to be crucial to your follow-up as well, because we can use those items to help follow up. The second part of my meetings is, what are you struggling with, or what do you need more of in your business? So for those
with
of you that
CPAs, attorneys,
yeah.
you use a similar type of script.
Yeah, or who can I connect you with is another question I can ask them. And then the last one is just, what can I do to help you? So I'm building those relationships just like I would with agents. It's just going to be a different referral than a real estate client. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess I would like to know ideas on how to help them in their business. I guess it's a little bit more foreign when you're, to me at least, thinking about like attorneys and CPAs.
Yeah.
You know, financial world, but like, what can you do to help them?
And a lot of the CPAs and the financial advisors are going to be looking for connections. So they'll say, oh, I'd like to grow my business. That's awesome. Who's a good industry that I can refer you to? So like if you hear CPAs will say, oh, I'm looking to meet more real estate agents. Now you can tie that in and have them sponsor events with you. You can connect them to agents who you think would be good partners, or they might say, I'm looking for financial advisors. Well, I just met with a financial advisor last week. Let me connect the 2 of you. So your role as a BDR can be that go-to person for anything that you may need. And then, you know, they might surprise you. That's why I always like to ask the question and leave it open-ended, because if you ask those questions, whether it's an agent, CPA, financial advisor, attorney, they will tell you exactly what they want. And then your goal is to follow up based off of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Carmen, do you have a question?
No, it was just more like a raise my hand, I guess, yeah.
Perfect.
Amen,
Okay.
same.
Okay, Mindy said, what are some great meeting options that aren't 3 coffees a day? You guys can't do 3 coffees a day. You've got this.
Only handle so much caffeine.
I switched to water. The reason I say coffees is so what I do with my schedule is I actually stack. So every half hour, I'm having someone come to me, and it's all at the same place. So if I start at 1 o'clock, I'll have a meeting at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm not leaving that place. So I say coffee, you don't have to drink coffee the entire time, but by making the agents come to you, you're saving time versus driving all over town and wasting time in your car, where you could just sit there, let everybody meet you, and then be more efficient and go home at the end of the day. So what I like to do on those, and when I stack my appointments, if you've got a larger metropolitan area, one day you'll be on the east side of town, the next day you'll be on the west side. And when you give your agents those options, you'll say, hey, listen, I'm going to be in Gilbert, which is on the east side of town, Tuesday and Thursday. I've got appointments at 1, 1:30, 2 at Snooze. Do any of those work for you? So don't let them dictate your schedule, because that was one of the things I did at the beginning, where I was running around like a crazy person and wasting so much time. And honestly, it was exhausting, especially when it's 120 degrees in the summer here. So that's how I like to do that. Do you have specific scripts for these calls, both cold calls and in transactions partners? I do. We're going to talk about them next week, so I'm going to save that question on that one. And then, do you ever do lunch? Occasionally I will, but they've got to be a really big producer, because I don't want to get stuck in a meeting with somebody who's never done a transaction and all of a sudden wants, you know, a free lunch and to take an hour and a half of my day. So if they're a strong producer, meaning they're over 20 buy sides in a year, I will do lunch. And that's usually when I have my loan partner come with me so that they can meet that person as well. But traditionally, my loan partner does not come with me to agent meetings. It's just me.
Rachel, I do have a question.
Yes.
How do you get them to come to you? I have tried to stack coffee appointments in the past, and a lot of the real estate agents their schedule doesn't align with mine, or they're not able to come to Venice, is where I live. So I found it very hard to actually be able to stack them.
So that's where I think having separate days in different areas. So if you're in Venice and they're in, I don't know Florida that well, but if they're in another city that's maybe 20, 30 minutes away, have a day where you even meet them at their place, but then stack the rest of your appointments. Does that make sense? So if they're like, hey, we want to go to the Starbucks in, I'll just use Apollo Beach, then the rest of the people that are in that area, you'll say, hey, I've got a meeting in Apollo Beach at 1, but I've got a 1:30 or a 2 available at this restaurant. So if you do have someone that's being really difficult, use them as kind of the anchor and then schedule everybody else right behind them.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we good? Get everyone's questions? So as far as accountability and metrics, this is what the BDR role is going to look like. Like we just talked about, the 15 meetings a week. Essentially, you're going to have agent meetings as all 15 in the next couple of months. And what I like to do with those is I will split those between current agents, so the retention side of things, and new agents that I'm trying to acquire their business. So about 7 and 7-ish. On that side, the Thor's Hammers calls, which are going to be the calling of the agents, or right now your sphere of influence if you don't have an agent list. Our goal is to close a loan within 90 days. So from the start of this class, my goal for all of you is to close a loan within 90 days from now. Think we can do it? Everyone? You guys are so excited. Let's go. Come on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Come on, guys. We're BDR. It's going to be fun and exciting.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So, thank you. Thanks for the enthusiasm, even if it was a little forced. So I like to set up my days with my admin duties in the morning, and then in the afternoons I do my meetings, I do the stacking. Our goal with you guys is to have 40 agents or 40 accounts, and what I mean by that is I have a team that's pretty big. I count that as one account, and the reason that I count them like that is because if I'm at a team meeting, I'm seeing 34 agents in 1 hour versus 34 individual agents. So our whole goal with our Focus 40, so 40 is going to be the magical number. This is how many qualified, meaning 8 buy-sides or more a year, agents we've got that have sent us a lead within the last 90 days. If they have not sent you a lead within the last 90 days, they get pulled off the list, and our goal is to replace them. Everyone understand that? Cool. And then consistent follow-up plan developed and executed. So next week, we're going to go over follow-up agent meetings. That's going to be our big topic for next week. So if there is something that you want to know specifically about that, feel free to put that in the Facebook group, or you can send me an email as well. Check the questions really quick. Okay, I got some yeses. Social media posts. So I like to do a little bit blend of personal and professional. One of the things that I do that works really well is I like to pop in open houses. I'll take a picture of the house, especially if it's like a cool house. I'll tag the real estate agent, and then they're going to reshare that. So now all of their friends get to see them, and I look like a superstar because I'm promoting them. You can do a variety of different things. Like I said, we'll be doing social media stuff as well and go a little bit more in depth, but make it personal, because Everybody else is talking about, oh, the Fed's raised the interest rates, or, oh, we've got this down payment assistance. Nobody really cares, I'm gonna be honest with you. Agents, again, wanna know, how are you taking care of my clients, and how are you making me more money? So with those ideas in mind, that's what you should post about on social media, and people that are like you are more likely to do business with. So I know that most of my agents love dogs because I love dogs too. And so if I post a picture of my dog, they're gonna lose their mind and we're gonna have some sort of bond. For meetings, you only meet with the agent for 30 minutes versus an hour. I like to keep my meetings to 30 minutes just because, again, they can have a long-winded conversation. It's also a good follow-up tactic. So if you're at 30 minutes and you're running out of time, say, you know what, this is an awesome idea. I want to go more in depth with you. Let's schedule another meeting next week to discuss this specific idea. I would stay away from an hour if you can, because otherwise you just get really bogged down. Let's see, pulling them off the list. It doesn't mean anything special. I basically just make sure that I fill someone who is sending leads. It's my own internal list, so it's not like I'm calling them saying, hey, you're fired. Thanks so much for not sending me any deals. It really sucked in the last 90 days. It's just more of a, I'm going to pull them off the list, and I know I've got to find someone who is willing to send leads so that I can make more money. And then TikTok, social media. I do not TikTok. I watch a lot on TikTok, which is why Amazon delivers to my house all the time, because I find the cool stuff that you need. But hey, if you are TikTok crazy, go for it. I've seen a lot of people go really viral on TikTok, and I know Paul Dolan, who's in the Freedom Club, has been really killing it on TikTok, so check him out. Okay. So this is what my normal schedule looks like, and I wanted to put this on there just so you guys could kind of see how my day's laid out. So from 8 to 10, I'm doing phone calls on my Focus 40 and my Forward camera. Okay, so my goal between 8 to 10 every day is to talk to as many people as possible during that time frame. A great way to do this is lock yourself in a room and put a little sign on the door that says, do not interrupt on phone calls, and go through that list. Okay, 10 to about noon, I'm doing admin stuff. So this is going to be your social media, your thank you cards, any of your follow-ups from the day before's meeting. So if you've got some longer notes that you need to send them via email, or any connections you need to make via email, this is a great time to do this. Planning events, scheduling, all of that stuff goes between 11 and 12. 12 o'clock, make sure you guys eat, because you can run around like crazy and then have 12 coffee appointments and realize you haven't eaten today and you're about to pass out. And please do not do that. I don't want to be responsible for that. And then my meetings from 1 to 5. So that's what a traditional day looks like for me. And while it's not perfect every day, because things do come up and meetings do come up, I like to try to stick to the schedule as much as possible, because it keeps me really accountable and structured. And like I said before, the more structure that you have in your business, the more successful you're going to be as a business development rep. Okay, looks like we have a question. So you try to stay around 40 agents as your pool you're fostering, correct? And like I said, that's 40 accounts. So if it's a team, I count it as 1. If it's an individual, I count it as 1 as well. So I have about 5 teams I work with. So that's 5, which means I have 35 spots left I've got to fill that are sending me leads. Any questions on the schedule for the week?
I have a question, Rachel. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
are you only calling your top 40 list and your Thor's Hammer on a weekly basis to get coffee appointments? So let's say you meet with one last week. You're calling them again, of course, just to follow up and stay in front of them. But are you asking them for another coffee appointment after you just met with them?
Not necessarily. It depends on the agent. Some agents don't have time to go to coffee all the time. Right. But it could be something we discussed at coffee. So if they say, hey, my goal is to get more listings, something that I'll do is go back and find a resource, whether it be a podcast or an article or something like that, something of value. I'll send it to them and say, did you get that podcast I sent you? What do you think about it? What can I help you implement? So it's more of a touch base. I would say if you see your agents On a monthly basis, you're good because you're talking to them pretty frequently.
Right.
And we'll talk when we talk about prospecting. I have a happy hour every month for my top agents, so I'm seeing them once a month at that, and it's a 2-hour block where I'm seeing 40 people. And so again, I'm a huge believer is like if we can be more structured with our time, the more efficient you're going to be.
Thank you.
Yep. Don's got a question. What do you mean you work with 5 teams? So these are going to be real estate teams. One of my teams I usually meet with every Monday morning. I sit in their team meetings. I help basically go over different ways to prospect. We work on client events with them. They're our team account. Any new team members that join the team know that they're working with us and that they're sending their clients to us. So teams are a really effective way to get a lot of agents in a short amount of time, especially if you're at their team meetings. So that's what my teams mean. And a team could be a 2-person team. It could be like my big one, 34-person team. It really just depends. For the 12-week follow-up call, what else can we keep discussing after a couple calls? I get lots of lost in voicemails and feel ghosted and get discouraged. So if after the 12 weeks you cannot get a hold of them, they've gone MIA and they've Casper the Friendly ghosted you, then I would say move along. Because you have to remember too, guys, you're the prize. You're helping add value to their business. If they're not even willing to take the time after weeks and weeks of you attempting, it's probably not a good fit. Does that make sense, Sean? Any other questions on time blocks? And I've said 8 reaches out, and then I'm usually done for sure. Coming in hot in the chat here. For the call time, are you calling different agents each week or the same? So I'm calling my top 40 agents for sure. And as you become more friendly with them, sometimes these calls will not be solely driven by business stuff. It's going to be, hey, I saw that Kelly had a soccer game. How did she do? You're going to start forming that relationship and building those bonds a little bit stronger. And then as far as my new ones, obviously, if someone hasn't filled that 40 spot, I'm always trying to replace that business that I may have lost because they're not sending me business. So it's kind of a mixture between the two, if that makes sense. You are going after a team of agents. Should you contact the broker first or try to set up a coffee meeting with the agent in there? So it really just depends. If you can get to the broker obviously is a good person for you to know. Any decision maker is awesome. Some of the bigger teams have transaction coordinators or office managers. Those are the people you want to get in with, not necessarily the big producer to get those meetings. But you can also meet with an agent and have that agent bring up to the broker or the team lead, hey, listen, I had an awesome meeting with Rachel today. I think they could really help our team grow. Would you entertain having them come in for a meeting and present? And then will you go over ways that you help agents grow their business? Yep, we will talk about that. I'm going to hang on that for right now because there's a whole class on adding value. And then do you have a separate list of new agents once they send you leads, then you put them on the top 40? Yes. So of the agents that I'm working towards and have them on a follow-up plan, they're not going on that top 40 list until they send me a lead. And then to stay on that top 40 list, they've got to continue sending leads within 90 days. When developing the Focus 40, what level buy-side agent, how do you prioritize who you are targeting first? I'm going to be really honest with you, the higher producers are a lot easier to work with. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but they just want to know that you're very efficient and that your team can get it done. So the bigger fish are always great to go after if you can land one of them, especially someone that's loyal and doesn't jump around. That's going to be a huge impact for your business. But anybody over 8 is a good person to go after. You figure that you'll probably get 50% of their business. So if they've done 8 deals, you're getting 4 of their deals a year. So it's just a numbers game. But that's why we have that call time. So you can constantly be calling agents that are producing at a high level with the hopes of picking up, 30 or 40 of those agents. So here's kind of what I need us to work on before the next class, and then we're going to jump into Q&A here in a second. I know we've been kind of toggling back and forth anyways, and I'll send this all to you. So a list of agents all that you know personally or have met with. So for those of our newer friends that are, a couple days in on the job, any agents you know personally go on this list. And if you have had a meeting, they will go on this list. So we're going to start our agent list this week. Also, your sphere of influence list. And how I do mine is anyone that knows my first name goes on this list, okay? So I've got their name, email, phone number, birthday, mailing address, and then I always put on there if they're a renter or an owner. And you can do this kind of in an interesting way. You'll just say, hey, what do you think of this market? And they'll be like, oh yeah, it's just a little crazy. Are you renting right now or do you own? And then that can help you figure out how you want to do your marketing to them. So start making this list, because how I target my friends that are renters versus owners is completely separate. So that's item number 2. Make sure all of your social media platforms are updated. So if you are new to the business, now is a perfect time to update your social media platforms. If you want to send me your handles and all of that stuff, I will make sure that we get a list together so we can all follow each other. And if you have referrals in other states that's on here, we can do business that way. And then I'm gonna send this to you guys in a PDF form too. But what I need you to do is I've got a time blocking sheet, so just like the one you saw me fill out. I'm gonna send this to you. If you can complete this today and email it to me, that would be amazing, just so I can see what your week is looking like and where those gaps are. And then at the end of the week, which will come in the same thing, this is gonna be your weekly recap. So it's gonna have all of your activities, your wins, things that went well for you. And then we'll start filling those out every week. And last but certainly not least, we're going to have a challenge. So track your phone calls, in-person meetings, and if you pop into any open houses, that'll be extra credit. We'll see who does the most by next week. But like I said, this class today is more of, here's the structural, what we're working on, building foundation. And next week, we're going to go into agent meetings, what that looks like, and the follow-up plans. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. I know you guys have a ton of questions. So for the next 15, 20 minutes, let's do some question and answer about what we went over today. And then I'll send you on your merry way so you can do all the homework assignments I gave you. Question. Bueller.
I guess I have a question. First and foremost, my situation's a little different or unique. The person that I'm working with is out of Pennsylvania and Florida. I'm in Minnesota. Any real estate agents I've had over the years are in Minnesota, which would do him absolutely no good since he's not licensed here. And I just started, so I'm trying to build up a list of agents in the Florida area right now. So I don't have any list. I just started last week.
Okay. Yep. So this is where you're going to want to reach out to your sphere of influence if you have one down in Florida. The other thing too is I would call on title companies.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. As far as title companies though, take a look in the area that you guys work in and call them and just say, hey, we're a mortgage company. We're really looking to form a partnership with a title company. Can I schedule a Zoom meeting with you? And have your title company pull that list. Title companies can be an amazing source of business for you guys, because if you think about it, when you're under contract and the lender messes up, guess who gets to hear about it? The title company. And so if your title company is a friend of yours and you're building a strong relationship, they're going to refer that agent over to you when they ask, hey, do you have another lender you can recommend to me? So definitely do that. Scott, reach out to some title companies and have them pull a list of people who have 8 buy-sides or more in the last 12 months, and that will be your list that you can start pulling from.
Yeah, I have a list of hundreds of people to reach out to, but I can do that as well. That's fine. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
What do you use something different for tracking other than what is used on the mortgage market animals? Do you have something that you simplified in order to, keep track of the business that you're doing and where it's at in the process?
Yeah, so what I do and what I would recommend you guys do too is keep track of your leads. You can do it in a spreadsheet. I do it in Google Sheets. So when a lead comes in, I have the agent tell both myself and my loan partner about it, so I know what business is coming in, and then they get added to that list. So each month it's broken out of the leads, so I can see how many leads I've gotten in a month, and then I color code them. You can do this however you want, but I basically color code is if we have an application in, if they're pre-qualified, if they're under contract, or if it's dead. So 4 different color codes. And then if an agent does go straight to my loan partner, which occasionally does happen, my loan partner just fills me in. We have leads meetings every day, which is a lot. And I know that most of you are not having leads meetings every day, but we do. And they'll say, hey, so-and-so sent this lead, make sure you add it to their list. So be sure to tell your loan partners, if you get a lead from one of my agents, can you please just let me know? So that way, if they call and say, hey, how's, the Jones file doing? You're like, who are the Joneses? You're aware of it. So that's how I try.
Do that first thing in the morning? Is that like the first thing your call is with your loan partners and banker, whoever it is? You just kind of identify what came in from the night before?
Yes.
That you're on it?
Mm-hmm. We usually do leads at 10 a.m. And then we'll do pipeline Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So those will be the actual deals that are under contract. I sit in those and I know what's going on with my files, but as far as me calling and saying, hey, the appraisal's in, that's not happening. That's our loan partners that are doing that.
Pipeline Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Correct. So I would just say, don't make it crazy, just make a spreadsheet of your deals. And then track too, how many applications of the leads that you're getting are turning into pre-quals. Because the other thing that we'll talk about, and we'll talk about this more when we touch on agent partnerships, is if you've got someone that's sending you 40 leads a month, but they're all credit repair or something that's not converting, that may not be the best use of your time, because you're now spending time chasing somebody who's not going to qualify for 5-6 years. And your team is spending time on that too. So we'll talk more about that, but it's really good to track your numbers to make sure that you're getting more leads every month. Those leads are turning into pre-quals and eventually turning into contracts. Like we talked about at the beginning, it's a little bit tougher right now in this market because contracts are not happening as quickly as they were 18, 24 months ago. So consider a pre-qual a win right now. And I'm hoping that'll change by the end of our 5 weeks together.
Got a question. Mine is almost exactly the opposite of Scott's, in that my sphere of influence, because I've been the president of 2 chambers of commerce. I was the executive director of one. My sphere of influence is like 3,000 people. Do you really want that daunting a list, or how do you want me to pare it down?
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I would say of strong people who you know would be a good salesperson for you, meaning if they heard mortgage, they're going to call Tony. That's who I want on that list.
Okay.
So the people that love you is going to be on that list. But I think there's a really, really love you and send you money, aka business. But I think too, you can also make a separate list of companies, especially because the Chamber of Commerce has a lot of companies. And that's going to be one of the prospecting things that we talk about, is going after companies and company accounts to be the preferred lender of those specific organizations. Sarah?
Hi. Okay, so we have a CRM that we use that I have all of my database, my contacts in. And so while I'm going through and making coffee appointments or doing these calls, some I'll get a hold of, some I'll have notes on, others I'll leave a voicemail. Do you have a space where you organize where everybody is in the process of you reaching out to them, that you can sort of refer back to and say, okay, last week I spoke to, you know, these 40 people, this is what happened with them, let me talk to this next crop of people. Like, do you have somewhere where you keep all of that stuff?
Yeah, so I use two things for my current agents that are on my top 40 list. What I'll do, I'm so old school, guys, I'm not gonna make this complicated for you, but I have all my agents listed. If I talk to them, they get a green. If I left them a voicemail, it's a yellow. If it's red, it means, hey, Rachel, you need to follow up with them pretty soon because they're gonna go cheat on you with somebody else. Like, hi, red flag. And so my goal is to always keep those people green. And that's how I use it for the people that I'm already working with. As far as for those that are on my 12-week follow-up plan, I have the name, and then at the top, touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12. And in the actual box right underneath there, I'll say VM 321. The next one, it'll be sent a text 325 or whatever dates it is. And then I just go across. So I know by step 12, if they're not over to my focus 40, then I need to find somebody to prospect that's different than them. Does that help?
Rachel, I have a question.
Yeah.
So my husband has a few realtor partners that he does a lot of business with, but they have, you know, an office with multiple agents. Now, if there's a couple of agents in there who have maybe sent him like a deal, but he doesn't have time to like really build that relationship with them, are those people that I can go after, or should I not because they've already sent him business before?
No, I would definitely go after them. If they're not sending all of their deals or a majority of their deals to your husband, like, you want that business to come in, and maybe it's just that they need more love and attention, and that's where you can fill that role. So talk to your loan partners too, guys, about if there is an agent that they work with and they do have a team, or they maybe aren't sending you as much business as possible. That's something that you can help your loan partners with. And sometimes it's a personality match. You know, I have a loan partner who is very much a guy's guy, and that's okay. But the agent partners I'm attracting are completely different than him. So if he gets a deal from someone that's more my speed, even though he probably crushed it on the deal, he doesn't know how to relate to that person. And so that's something where you can go to your loan partner and say, hey, are there any accounts or agents that maybe you've done deals with before that need a little bit more time and attention? And then you can have those conversations with the agents and say, listen, I know that you've worked with Austin, and I keep using Austin because that's my loan partner's name. I know you worked with Austin in the past. He thinks you're awesome, and he wants to make sure that you're making as much money as possible this year. So he asked me to be another point of contact for you with our company. So together, both of us will make sure that you have the best day of your life and that we're doing solid for your clients.
Perfect. Thank you.
Dawn, you have a question?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
You went over before that, tracking. My biggest thing is I'm giving all these leads now. Some of these agents are just calling up Justin direct. I don't know about it. I have no real tracking system. I did reach out to Guaranteed Rates, to one of the top operations. He said, no, we have to have a tracking system. And I just wanted to see, like, again, like, I liked how you said that the loan officer would let you know every day or morning. Can you go over that again or try to help me? Because I'm like, if I give the lead, I don't even know who's really pre-qualified. Some I do, some I don't. And then I do know that we haven't underwritten any, real deal yet because they couldn't find the home or something happened.
Sure.
But I even want to know, like, conversion rate. So if I give a lead, what's the conversion rate to the pre-qual to the end?
Yeah, and I think that's a conversation you just need to have with your loan partner and say, listen, I'm out there boots on the ground and agents are asking me about clients that I don't even know about because they're coming directly to you. Is there a system that'll work effectively for you and I to track those? Whether it be we meet once a week to go over the leads, but, you know, I can't do my job if we don't know what's going on. And I also need to make sure that the agents who promised they were sending me deals are actually sending me deals. So that sounds like you guys just need to have a conversation of how you best track it, because it is important for you to know
Yeah, I did ask him, I said, you know, there seems to be a tracking system, but there's a 000 in it. He was like, oh, I didn't know about any, so I spoke to somebody else to find it out, but I wanted to see, you have a real tracking system, right?
Yeah.
And that was my, really to you, was like, what are you doing again on that tracking system? On your
Yeah,
tracking
so on mine, it's just a Google sheet. I've got them tabbed on the bottom by month. So they've got their name, who the loan I have multiple loan officers, so it's a little different. So who the loan officer is, if it's a purchase or a refinance. And then as soon as that lead comes in, they go on the list. I'll talk to Austin and say, hey, where are we at with this? We'll say, we've got an application in, it turns to yellow. Once, you know, that happens, I say, hey, do we have a pre-qual for this person? It's blue. If a contract comes in, turns to green. If it's somebody who's not gonna work with us, or, you know, credit is 300, it's gonna turn to red. And so that's how I'm tracking that, and I'll go back and ask questions, say, hey, I haven't heard about this person, I need to call so-and-so this week. Can you give me an update just in case you have to ask about that lead?
Okay, great. Okay.
Tyler, do you have a question?
Yeah, so most of my friends are in their mid-20s, and most of them are renting. I don't know a lot of real estate agents, but I actually do happen to have one good friend that is the title agent.
Okay.
And I was wondering, do you have a script that's good to have that conversation? Because I'm not really I don't know too many agents, and I have a lot of friends that are interested in kind of first-time home buying, but none that are really making the move yet.
Yeah, I mean, so the script as far as talking to the agents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, hey, listen, I'm in the age demographic where a lot of people are renting, and I've got buyers that we're working with that are planning on purchasing within six months to the next year. I'm looking for a good agent to pair them with, and I'm currently interviewing agents. Would you mind going to coffee so that I can see if you're a good fit?
That's awesome. Thank you.
Kim.
So I use, this may be kind of new for everybody, but I use Phone Burner to dial my agents. It's super helpful because you leave that one voicemail, or you record the voicemail, and then when it comes to voicemail, you just click it and move on to the next person. As far as tracking that though, I'm not quite sure if that's like the best route to go when you have like your list of people that you call daily. Because I have it split up between like a Monday list, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Sure.
And then when I create that appointment, I move them into that appointment scheduled, or if they ask to be removed, to remove them, put them in that list. So I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little bit different of a situation than most of the people on the call. But I would say, you know, if you are tracking, because it's dialing every day, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I would use the first point of contact as that initial goes on the tracker, and then from there, you track. Because now that you have an in, you've got to keep them on the hook. But until you get that, I would say just don't track it until you finally make contact with them. Brody?
Okay, so with my forced-handed phone calls that I've been doing, I've been kind of following that script on the Freedom Club for now. But obviously, as I start to transition away and I'm not doing those coffee appointments with my loan partner and I'm doing them myself, how are you kind of introducing yourself? Do you still like say that you're Rachel and you're working with your loan partner at this company? Or do you just kind of introduce yourself and say, I want to take you to this appointment and stuff? Like, just how are you going about that?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to complicate it on the phone just because they're not sure sometimes anyways. I just do it myself. Hey, this is Rachel from VIP Mortgage. I've heard a ton about you. I would love to sit down and meet you and pick your brain on what you're doing to excel. The other thing that I'll do too is before I call them, I'll take a look on Facebook and see if we have mutual friends. Hey, I saw that you're friends with so-and-so. They always have great people around them, and you're probably no exception to that. I'd love to go and pick your brain and see how we can make you more money this year. Again, I always use the same phrases you'll start hearing it as you listen to me talk. The agents want to know, how much money can you put in my pocket? Because that's what they're motivated by, right? And how are you going to take great care of your clients? The second one's going to come after. But at first, it's going to be, how can you help me build my business as a real estate agent? And you can, they do ask, well, what do you do with your team? My sole job with our team is to help our agent partners thrive in this market. And that's how I will sell it to them. But, you know, if you are struggling to get them on the phone and you do have a mutual friend, have that mutual friend make an introduction for you. Then now you've got a warm introduction versus a cold one.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yep, Talia?
Hi, do you think there's a difference in personalities with those who want to bypass the business development representative and speak with the loan officer directly, or is it just a matter of training your referral partners?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think you have to find out what motivates them. But remember, if somebody doesn't want to do business with you, then that's okay. Like, you're not going to find everybody for you. So I think you just need to ask them, what's most important to you in your lender relationship? Where can we assist, and what can we do to help you as an agent grow and make sure your clients are happy with you so they keep sending you referrals?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, Jamie?
I was just sitting here thinking, like, because you were saying, like, making those phone calls in the morning. Well, my role, yeah, I'm a business development manager here, but I'm also a loan officer.
Yeah.
So a lot of my time also, when I do calls, like, I call, like, a lot of my leads and real estate agents daily. So I think my thing is, like, okay, like, I think I need to work on making time to call, like, other agents that I'm not working with, you know, because I am so busy with, like, what I have now. And I think Tyler, my boss, he's, like, working on it too, but he's, you know, trying to hire, like, 2 more positions, you know, somebody that can help jump in and help. And I'm thinking maybe that'll help, like, free me up a little bit, you know, just because, you know, like, I'm following up on those leads or whatever, you're doing calls with, you know, my current people that are in contract and stuff like that too. So just, like, I think, like, that time management, how do I call all my leads and real estate agents that I work with now and then make time for new ones?
And I think that's something that's super challenging, especially in your specific role, because you have so many different things going on. That you have to put it as, like, an appointment with yourself and say, I can't schedule anything right here because at some point the current business is going to close. And then where is your next business coming from? Yeah. So put it in your schedule, and, you know, maybe that's something you talk to Tyler about too. I think a lot of us too, make sure you're having these conversations with your loan partners, because sometimes your loan partner doesn't know you're struggling with something, or there's something they can do to help make your job easier and take better care of your agents and their clients. But have that conversation and say, listen, it's really important for me to make 20 phone calls a day. Even if you can do it in an hour, you have to constantly be prospecting, because the worst thing that you could do is have no business.
Yeah.
And it's just a time management thing, unfortunately.
For sure. And I feel like I got so lucky because when I started, I, like, hit the ground running, and we've been, you know, like, so fortunate, like, we've so busy, you know, to where, like, at the beginning, all I was doing was, you know, doing lunches, coffees, you know, drinks, whatever with people. And then so now it's like after that, and, like, Tyler already had, like, this great team and, like, good follow-ups, that it was easy to, like, get business from people. They just, you know, so I don't know, I guess it's just like you said, just not getting so comfortable, and make sure that I'm thinking, like, long run and keep people coming in.
Well, and I think too, for you, you're already working in the files, which again is different than a lot of you guys, and we'll talk about this later, but go after those listing agents. You're already making those calls to give them updates anyways. That can be used as your prospecting.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to do, especially if you already know if they're cool or not. So if they are, hey, listen, I'd love to take you to coffee. I really enjoy working on your file because you're so great to work with. Like, you see how we do it, that's every file here.
Awesome, yeah.
All right, I cannot believe it. It's already been an hour and a half. I'm sure some of you are done hearing me speak, but I will send an email with the recording to both you and your loan partner, so you guys will get that as soon as it populates. And I'm also going to put in there the slides and those tracking forms. I'll post it on Facebook too, so there'll be plenty of places for you to look. If you guys need anything, just email me. Happy to help. Everyone good? Everyone feel a little bit better? Yeah? All right, cool. So next week, we're going to talk about agent meetings and follow-ups with those. If you think of any questions, like I said, please post them in the Facebook chat. I want to make sure this is super beneficial for you and that you guys are doing really well on the content. So with that, go out there and crush it, and I will see you guys all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.